Do you use Aperture to enhance your creativity? Do you guide your audience to focus on a specific part of your photograph? Let's discuss how you as a photographer can use Aperture to direct attention exactly where you want it on your photograph. Your audience will really appreciate your work and yourself simply because you make it so visually effortless for them to enjoy it. Hey guys, this is 𝐒𝐂𝐄𝐓. I am a fashion and a wildlife photographer here in New York. After shooting for designers, magazines, art galleries, fine art prints, I have realized that we have a tendency of making photography difficult. Let's break it down. Let's make it super easy. Make it simple in your mind first, and everything else will fall into place. Guys, let's make photography easy. Why don't we just get the technical aspects out of the way? I'm sure you guys already know what Aperture is, but let's just finish it really fast and simple. Aperture is basically an opening in your lens that opens and closes. It's like the iris of your eye. When it opens up, it allows a lot of light to come in. When it closes, it allows less light to come in. The other thing what it does is when it opens up, it focuses on a certain subject. Now, because of it opening up and the light rays going through come at a certain angle, the focusing depth of field is very narrow, which means if you're going to do it at 2.8, your depth of field is narrow. If you're going to do at f22, it closes, and your depth of field, these lines over here are going to be crossing at a certain place, and your acceptable focus gets wider. f22, less light coming in. f2.8, a lot of light coming in. Period, the end. That's the end of the technical aspects of Aperture. Let me give you guys an example of how I use Aperture for creativity. What I personally do is photograph most of my work at the biggest opening of my lens, which means the smallest f-stop, like f2.8. And the reason why I do that is because I want everything other than what I'm trying to show to my audience to be less sharp or blurry. I don't want to call it blurry, but less sharp. For the most part, 99.9% of the time, I mean, I'm photographing models and I'm photographing wildlife. So I want them to look at the eye of the human or the animal. And the reason why I want them to look at the eye is because most of our emotions come across in the eye. You know, eye is a place where you see tons of emotion, and I want my photographs to be emotional. I want my audience to focus on the eye. I don't want them to focus on the nose, and I don't want them to focus on the horns, and I don't want them to focus anywhere else. That's what I want. I want them to feel the emotion of the animal. And the only way I can get them to do that is to shoot it with a 2.8, 4.0, something like that, f-stop, which will zero them into that simply because we are humans. What I mean is that if it's getting blurry in your photograph or less sharp, the tendency of our subconscious mind is to find the easy in everything. Your subconscious mind is going to find the easy, which means it's going to find the sharpest part immediately. And that is where you're going to focus. And that's the reason why I always just absolutely stick to f2.8, f4 or f5.6, whatever my lens is allowing me to do to the smallest part. I don't shoot it at f22 because if I did shoot it, or if I do shoot it at f22, my audience is confused. They don't know where to look at. Should I look on the side? Should I look on this side? Because everything is becoming sharper, and since everything becomes sharper, your eyes are looking at everything. But I would like my audience not to have that option because I want them to see the soul of my subject. So let me give you an example. I was in Norway and we got the blizzard warning. Everybody is running down the mountain. I'm running up the mountain because when you have crazy weather, you get crazy photographs, right? You get to see things that you don't really get to see in normal weather. I mean, look at this. This muskox is absolutely frozen. It felt like he was not alive. Look at the face of this guy. It's totally, absolutely frozen. Now, these kind of photographs can only be achieved when you do something which is not normal. Yeah, it wasn't normal for me to run up the mountain when everybody was running down. The thoughts that are coming to my mind are, should I change my aperture to f8 instead of shooting it at f2.8? And the reason why I'm thinking about that is because so much snow. I know my camera is going to have a really, really difficult part in focusing on a muskox eye. And I refuse to change it because I think if I changed it, it would go against the principles of what I believe. I believe that 99% of the emotion stays in the eye, and I need my audience to look straight into the eye on my photograph. So if I did shoot it with f8, they would probably look at the nose, or they would probably look at the horn, or they would probably look at something else. I don't want that. I want them to look at the eye. So I stuck to my 2.8. This is what I got. You can see that everything around it is getting blurrier, or I should say less focused. Hence, your eye as an audience is going straight to his eye. That's exactly where I want you to see. If I had to shoot it with a bigger aperture, it would not work. You'd be looking at the snow coming down because snow was going absolutely nuts. Let me give you another example. Now, I am in the Arctic. It's freezing. It's minus 56 degrees. And this wolf shows up. There were like 8 of them. They show up. Since everything was gray, white, and light blue, I'm saying to myself, how do I pull him out of the frame? He was a little bit further away, so I didn't have to be so tight. So how do I pull him out where everybody focuses on him? I was on a 400 lens, I believe it was 2.8 or f4, something like that I shot it with. And the reason why he's sticking out is because everything else around him, starting from the eye downwards, is getting less sharp. Shooting in the Arctic is not a very comfortable situation. I am there to get something and show the world something that they don't see all the time. I might as well get something that they focus on to. Alright guys, so look at this one now. The only reason why your eye goes straight to the Puma is because I'm shooting it with such a shallow depth of field. I don't remember my f-stop here, but I know what I do, and I know that I do it all the time. So I don't think I was over 2.8 or 4.0. And the reason why I'm doing it is because I want you guys to go straight into his eye, feel what he's feeling, see what he's seeing. The emotion is what really, really makes it. Your photograph is just a photo if it has no emotion. Once it does get emotion, it becomes an image, and it's our job as a photographer to guide our audience's eye to exactly where the emotion is. 99% of the emotion lays in the eye, and that is the reason why I want them to look at the eye and feel what my subject is feeling. If I didn't want that, then I would probably pull out my iPhone and shoot a photograph with that, because everything is going to be sharp. We don't want that. We want to be the directors in our photography, so this way we guide our audience for them to feel something. And once you feel something, you love it. Alright guys, this is for aperture and creativity. I know I didn't do a lot of technical work on this. I don't think I should. I should speak more about creative, because technical is technical. Once you know it, it's in the back of your head. Don't get bogged down with technical. Be creative and you will be better photographer. I'll speak to you guys soon. Thank you.